This week sees a rather self-contained, simple rescue story of Thunderbird 3 and John, respectively, rescuing pilots from space freighters that are less than cooperative. And, I appreciate sometimes you need to voice your opinion, to point out what the fault or the error in judgment may be, call it what you will, but the two pilots were bickering like kids in a schoolyard, and I'm like, it's starting to get old real quickly. So the whole, oh, it's your fault, no, it's your fault, it's like, stop. You know what I mean? Just seriously, stop. And it's an interesting angle to see Thunderbird 3 compromised by low fuel, but considering, now, not being a mechanical engineer or a space engineer, I would imagine a lot of it played into the fact that Alan pretty much used up most of his fuel source by going maximum reverse thrust. But given the circumstances he's in, he didn't exactly have a lot of options open to him, so... But it was actually a very decent story, and I like the fact that the Tracy brothers are resourceful. John looks at ways to think of, okay, this option is not open to us, let's try this option, see what works, because when you're out of your main options, i.e., the more conventional way of using Thunderbird 3 to push back, you kind of have to use alternatives, and I was actually quite impressed with that, so that was good. And on a side note, it was good to see John again, and I've noticed they're using him a lot more proactively in missions this season compared to other seasons. That's not to say he's out in the field every single mission, no, but this is like, what, maybe the second or third time he's been out of the space station, so that's something. So, yeah, that was good. As for voice acting, the regulars punch in another excellent performance. Adam Haldane, who was the pilot Barrett, did brilliantly well. And I can't help but feel that the female pilot's vocal performance may have been a nod to Dr. Venus from Fireball XL5. Just saying. As for animation, this is some of the most beautiful space animation I've seen from Weta Workshop, especially the way you'd see the way Earth is lit up with the lights below when it's in the night areas of the planet. It's a breathtaking visual, and I can only imagine what it's like for people up on the International Space Station when they see that every day. It's got to be something to behold. So yeah, Weta Workshop, good job as ever. On somewhat of a special note today, I kind of felt that both space freighters bared a nod to Zero X, which was featured in the first episode of Captain Scarlet and the Mysterons, and was heavily featured in the 1966 movie Thunderbirds Are Go, which is no relation, well, it is a relation to this TV series, but it's not in continuity with that one, if that makes any sense to you. But yeah, I did kind of notice that and thought, Now I know there's bound to be someone that'll say, well, look more like Fireball XL5. Fireball XL5 had more of a curved aerodynamic look to it, whereas the space travel part of Zero X was a little bit more blocky and lengthy compared to Fireball XL. I mean, Fireball XL5, if this is Zero X, here's Fireball, because Fireball was only meant to be like a small, quick craft, based on what little I've seen of Fireball XL5. And Zero X was a long journey type of vehicle to go exploring on Mars, which on Captain Sky I'm kind of thinking they may have not wanted to do that. But yeah, that's a little thing I noticed this week. As for my final thoughts, I don't really have anything to add this week. It was a decent self-contained story. No mention of the Chaos Crew, and I noticed they seem to be going into this little pattern each week. First 2 episodes were of the Chaos Crew. Third episode may have been that as well. But then they'll go Chaos Crew, self-contained. Chaos Crew, self-contained. Chaos Crew, you get the idea. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is a formula I'm starting to notice a little more apparent with each week. But maybe that's just a way of shaking the formula up so it's not so repetitive, like how they dealt with the mechanics so many times consistently last season. Which at the end of the episode, I mean, Scott shows up for the first time, like, whoa! I was like, dude, I didn't know you still existed on this show. And it's just, Brains is working on a way to sever the cyber link between the hood and the mechanics, so be interested to see how that pans out throughout this season, so we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, decent episode once more. Nothing really to complain about other than the bickering, but that's a minor thing. But yeah, very impressed with this week, and roll on next mission. Good night from the night.